Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What's going down? People, good afternoon. How we doing? How we feeling? How we looking? It's your dog Toddy checking in with a quick live stream. I hope it's a quick live stream. Been about 2 weeks, since I've been on live or I did a video and anything of that matter. So it's been a little minute, you know. A lot has happened in between time. A lot has happened. The weather has got even warmer. The weather has got warmer in between time. We had a big rap battle that that transpired in between time between Kendrick Lamar, aka K Dot, and Drake, aka Champagne Poppy. So a lot been going on. I didn't even get a chance to talk to y'all about the battle either, man. Y'all know I'm a big, huge rap fan. Who y'all think won that battle? Because it's apparently over at this point. It might crank back up. But who y'all think that won the battle? Make sure to comment and let me know who you think won that battle. Also, make sure to hit that like button for your dog as well. Hit that like button for your dog as well. I definitely do appreciate that. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook. Please follow us on Facebook. We are there every day on Facebook putting out content. I dropped the link to the Facebook page in the comment section. I'm trying to pin it. It's been so long since I've been on here, and I kind of forgot how to do a few things. But bear with me. I'm trying to pin the link to the top. There it is. Pinned message. Okay. Yeah. So click. If you're not already following us on Facebook, make sure that you do follow us on Facebook. That's where you're gonna get the most up to date things from Atlanta Bird Gang at this point in time. We are really, really pushing our Facebook page very, very hard. So you be doing me a great, huge favor by following us on Facebook. Engage with us on Facebook as well. So let's jump in the comment section real quick. We got DJ Gaming in the building. Says, "What's up, Toddy? I came to bang." What's going on, DJ? What you banging on, bro? What do you want to bang about, brother? What's happening, DJ? King Atlanta supporter is in the building. What's up, King? Ain't see you in a minute, bro. Ain't talk to you in a minute. It's Toddy when they win one. You know who said it first? Me. You did. You've been saying it. Actually a lot. I see you everywhere on Facebook saying it with all fellow Atlanta content creators. So shout out to you, bro. I do appreciate it. We got our fellow Who Dat, our resident Who Dat is in the building. Let's ring the bell for Pelicans. Donya is in the building. What's up, Pelican? Says ATL, talk to them low. What's going on with you, brother? Hope everything is well. How everything going in Who Dat land with your aints. Looking forward to that annual rivalry once the season kicks up. Who else we got here? I'm Vaughn checking in. Says Toddy, I'm here because Mark always shouts you out. Just got off work and ready to listen. I appreciate you coming through. I'm Vaughn. I definitely do appreciate that. And also appreciate my brother Marcus Washington also with On The Mark. Y'all make sure y'all check out On The Mark here on YouTube also. Does some excellent Falcons content. Has been doing excellent Falcons content for quite a long time. So make sure you check my guy out. And thank you again, Vaughn, for coming through. And appreciate you, Mark, for sending him our way. Definitely do appreciate it. Raymond Collins in the building said, yo, 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 back at you. What's happening, Raymond? What's going on? What's popping? Pelican says, do y'all really think Kirk Cousins is that dude? That's a very fair question. I guess we got to first start off and put a definition on that dude. Do I think he Mahomes type that dude? Absolutely not. Do I think he's that dude that could come in here and win at least 10 games and one playoff game for the Falcons? Absolutely do. Is he a upgrade from Desmond Ridder? Absolutely is. Is he an upgrade from Marcus Mariota? He absolutely is. So I'm looking forward to it, man. As always in Falcons land, Pelicans, there's been so much conversation, banter, debate, argument about the quarterback position. And I said it on my Facebook. I feel like I might be the only Falcons fan that is okay with signing Kirk Cousins and giving him the contract that we gave him, and also okay with drafting Michael Penix. I'm okay with both of those moves. I love both moves. So I'm very optimistic about what Kirk Cousins can do for the Falcons. Hopefully, he sweep your team twice this year. Let's ring the bell for sweeping the Aints this year. So I'm optimistic, man. At minimum, I want 10 regular seasons win and a playoff win. And I know some people might say that may think my expectations are low. But if Kirk Cousins wins one playoff game this year, to me that's a successful season. And I know somebody will say, "Man, you got low expectations," which I really don't. But I'm being realistic too. Coming out 6 consecutive losing seasons, I don't expect the Falcons to win a Super Bowl this year. I would love if they do, but I'm trying to be realistic about it also. Shout out to you Pelicans. Clay Murray's in here. What's up, Clayton? Says K Dot won. K Dot, shout out to K Dot. So one person says Kendrick Lamar won the battle. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in the middle. What's going on, Dan? Says happy Tuesday, everyone. Hey, well, shout out to you. Oh yeah, we miss Cinco de Mayo too. That's something else we miss. I did celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I went to a Latin restaurant in Atlanta. Y'all know I'm a country boy with a thick middle Georgia drawl. Now, I really wish I could pronounce the name of the restaurant I went to, because I would love to shout them out and have some of y'all go check them out yourselves. But I can't pronounce it. It's similar. I wish I could pronounce it, man. I'm gonna figure out how to pronounce it. I might have to get Lisa to teach me how to pronounce it. And next time I come on live, and y'all go check them out. But that's one of my favorite restaurants in the world. I went there for Cinco de Mayo. They had some drink specials. Of course, let's ring the bell for the drink specials. They also had a DJ in there. So I went in there, I did my little 1-2, had my drink in my hand, I was lit for Cinco de Mayo. You know what I'm saying? I really did enjoy it. Had a great time. Great time. C-Dub in the video. What's going on, C-Dub? How you doing? Y'all make sure to check out C-Dub also on YouTube. Does Falcons content. Also does wrestling content. So if you are a big wrestling fan, that's where you need to be. C-Dub says, much love, Toddy. I'm showing love before I go on live. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Yep, he's going on live as well. Appreciate you, C-Dub. And great show to you today as well. C-Dub also says, Toddy, I'm still concerned about the defense, and our offense had to show up too. Let's sweep the Saints. That's always a goal of ours as Falcons fan. Most certainly. My dog, RJ, Falcons 242 is in the building. What's going on? RJ, this is Big Homer. Toddy, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well. Glad you came through. What's popping? Lil Shiesty in the building. Not Pooh Shiesty, but Lil Shiesty's happy Tuesday. Penix is balling. I love it. Got our brother James Holloway in the building checking in as well. What's going on, James? How you doing, man? Good afternoon. Hope everything is going well. But yeah, let's get to the business. Again, please like the video and make sure that you click that link that's pinned. That'll take you to the Atlanta Bird Gang Facebook page. Make sure to follow the Facebook page. As I mentioned, as of right now, that's where you're going to get most of the content from Atlanta Bird Gang. That don't mean you won't see us on Instagram or Twitter or here on YouTube, but most of the content as of right now will be on the Facebook page. So make sure you click on that Facebook page. And I know we got some fans or some people that watch the show that may not be active on Facebook, but I know you got a Facebook page, even if you don't log on to Facebook. If you're a big Instagram user, that's cool. If you're a TikTok person, that's cool. But do me a favor, follow the channel. Or follow the page, I guess I should say. But what I want to do, y'all, Kirk Cousins had an interview that was released today that he did with Bussin with the Boys. That's the name of the YouTube channel. That's the name of the podcast. And full transparency, I have never heard of the podcast, and that's not a slight at them. But as we all know, I mean, there nowadays there are a lot of shows and podcasts out there. So I never heard of it until Kirk Cousins was advertised being on there like 2 days ago. So that caught my attention, and I haven't seen it yet. So what I want to do is I want to go through it, and we're going to react to this live together. I have not seen anything. The only thing I know from this interview is a meme that they put out today that said, or should I say meme? We'll just say meme. Where Kirk Cousins said he's not beefing with the Atlanta Falcons, or he's not mad that they drafted Michael Penix Jr. He's concentrating on winning a Super Bowl. So that's the only thing I know about the content of this show that we're going to react to. So this is going to be my first time looking at it with y'all live, and we're going to go through it. So we always do when we do reaction. We're going to pause it, talk about it, chop it up. It looks like it's kind of long. I don't think I'll be able to. Well, I know I'm not going to be able to finish this because I got to check out here and around about 5:25, so somewhere around that time, maybe 5:45. But we're going to try to go through it as far as we can. We're going to talk about it, and y'all know how we do it. So let me pull this up here. Y'all bear with me. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've been. Oh man, I done kind of forgot where everything is located at. So let's pull this up. Let's discuss it and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Bam, there we go. So we got it up on the screen here. So let's go through it here.
Was my guy. So long story short, I was a stoolie in 2011, and then once.
Hold on, let's get to the part with Kirk Cousins that we won't waste nobody's time in here. Is that Kirk? No, that ain't Kirk. Whose show is this also, by the way? Does anybody watch this? I don't even know whose show this is. Like, who are the hosts? I'm total green when it comes to this. God dang, how long do you gotta? Is this the Kirk? Oh, let's say Kirk Cousins. Dang, so it's gonna be a while before they bring Kurt on here, huh? Are they inside of a van? Is that Will Compton? Okay, so we finally got a Kirk Cousins sighting. Let's go back a little bit. All right, so let's start this thing off.
Say that quote one more time.
You got to feed the bad dog so he doesn't eat the good dog.
Right. And so we were talking about Vice.
All the things that he talked about. Again, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening, make sure you subscribe. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Enjoy this episode. Probably right after this ad read. But thank you guys for tuning in to Bussin' With The Boys. All right, before we kick off the Kirk episode, sound the trumpets. It's horse racing time. Sammy said it earlier. The best sports betting app out there is DraftKings. And it's time to saddle up for some action with DK Horse, an official DraftKings affiliate. Right now, new customers who download the DK Horse app can get 100% deposit up to $250. Again, that is a bonus of 100% bonus. God damn it.
Say that quote one more time.
You got to feed the bad dog so he doesn't eat the good dog.
Right. And so we were talking about vices. Like, if you don't have one, you can't be trusted. What's
That's
Kirk
right.
Cousins' vice?
Oh, man, I knew that was coming. I need more time to think about that. I love fast food. I love sugar. I don't like candy, but like soda.
You're a soda guy.
Yeah, I love like cinnamon rolls.
Good Lord, Kurt's still in that fast food phase of his life and that sweets phase of his life. Ooh, boy.
like bakery, like donuts.
Junk food.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't really eat chips. Like, I got pizza, chocolate shake.
See, that's my advice. That's my personal advice. I love potato chips. I can eat a whole bag of chips by myself with no problem. Love potato chips. I've been a big potato chip guy since I've been a little boy. I wish I didn't like them as much because they're not good for you at the end of the day. Filled with a lot of it's basically a processed food filled with a lot of carbs and saturated fat. But I'm a potato chip fanatic myself.
Burgers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Top.
The finer things in life. You like to snack on some delicious
Yeah.
meals.
And I've got the problem is on my apps. They all the algorithms recommend stuff for you. And I got on the Portnoy, one bite, everyone knows the rules, pizza stuff. And now like my whole feed is just his different pizza stops. And so I find myself like having these cravings for pizza.
Do you watch them through?
I usually watch like when they're edited down to like quick.
Yeah.
Because the world we live in today, everything's fast.
Yeah.
But he's pretty good. But yeah, unfortunately he's making me always be thinking about pizza now.
Let me ask y'all this. Y'all let me know in the chat. Do y'all want to listen to this part? I guess this is the introductory segment, or do y'all want to kind of fast forward a little bit to where he's talking about the Falcons? So somebody let me know in the chat. You want to go through it from this part, keep going, or do we want to go through it a little bit when he's talking more about the Falcons? We got Winston Thorne in the building. What's going on, Winston? How you doing today, brother? Says, what's going on, Buck and chat? Smash that like button. Please do hit that like button. I appreciate that. And also make sure to check out Winston Thornton on the eye test. They will be on tomorrow at 10 p.m. They're normally on every Wednesday at 10 p.m. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe to Winston and also our guy, John Harris. Demetrius in the building. What's up, Demetrius? How you doing today, bro? What's popping? What's going down? My guy, 3 Dirty, is in the building. What's going on, 3? How we doing today, bro? What's popping? We got Mills in 1967 in the building also. Says, that was a Kirk. Man, I'm blind, bro. I can't see that good. You still got on my head right here, bro. I'm blind. What else we got here? We got a dog Zay in the bag in the building. What's going on? Salute chat. Baltimore and house. Baltimore. What's going on, Baltimore? What's up, Zay? 8 Towns Finals. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? What's going down? But yeah, if y'all want to continue going through here, we'll continue starting here. If y'all want me to fast forward a little bit, just let me know. I'll keep my eye on the chat.
Which isn't good for the.
What are your top 3 fast food spots?
This is a good topic.
So, well, let's just, recently moved to Atlanta. So there's some like southeast part of the country food spots that like if you're from the Midwest like I am or from out west, you don't even know about. So like Bojangles.
Okay.
The Bowberry biscuit.
I never had Bojangles in my life, but let's keep going.
Is
We know about the Bowberry biscuit.
unbelievable. It's fire. Then the cookout. We had it when we were in DC.
I never had cookout in my life either, but let's keep going.
Like started to work their way north.
Yeah.
But they're from like Carolina and you get them in Atlanta too. And it's typical, like get your burger, but then instead of getting like a side of fries, you get 2 sides. So you can get like a burger, a side of fries, and then a side of nuggets, and then a drink.
And a shake, probably.
And then they have like a 50 plus flavors.
Kurt seemed like he greedy, boy. That just know about all the spots.
Plethora of shake.
That
flavors.
So
always
those
puts me in a
two
blender.
and too many
It's too many
choices.
flavors.
Too many choices.
Yeah.
I usually go like mint chip, but those 2 in the southeast, that was something where it's like, oh, I normally don't get to have a Bowberry biscuit and
Yeah.
2 sides in my fast food. But yeah, I don't discriminate among fast food.
What's your you left out a third.
I mean, Chick-fil-A is phenomenal.
Come on, Kurt. Chick-fil-A is just too cliche for Atlanta. It's headquartered in Atlanta. Give us something else now.
Agreed.
But I just don't like Culver's, being from the Midwest. Culver's, Butterburgers, really good. Five Guys, if you want to call that fast food, really good.
5 Guys. Ooh, he about to spend some money. Kurt got that money though.
Good. I just don't discriminate. Taco
Yeah.
John's, I love Taco John's.
What's
Potato
Taco
Olays.
John's?
You're Nebraska. They have Taco John's in
they
Nebraska.
did, but I never went to.
yeah, potato Olays.
You
good.
mentioned something a minute ago. Mint chip.
Yeah,
You're a mint chip guy.
that's my go-to ice cream.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know about that, bro.
That's
Really?
same as McCaffrey.
I know.
It is an interesting flavor, but I got a weird ice cream taste too. We talked about that's when I got
need
caught
the-
by you and McCaffrey about my choice in ice cream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get down with your birthday.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. I'm trying to lose weight, and they talking about all this fast food. I'm trying to slim down, Kurt. I can't let you do this to me. man.
That's not the best time to just like binge and let it all go.
Bay Buccaneers, and I had ice cream with caramel M&Ms in it,
That's
candy,
routine.
and I had a good game to where
Routine. go out for warm-ups at the same time. I want to make sure I go through the same warm-up. I want to usually get on the same bus. There's a lot of things like I do that it's more that I just have a routine, and I like to be able to turn my brain off. So I like to be able to just not have to think about things. So it's like, oh, I don't want any energy towards decisions. I don't want to make a decision on which bus to get on or where to sit, or I just want to know this is what I do, this is how I do it, so that all my energy is towards the game and not towards decisions. So it looks like superstition, but really it's really just, I just have routine.
Has it ever been thrown off and it kind of just puts you in a...
Sounds like he's a creature of habit. I'm kind of like that a little bit. Probably not to the extent of him, because of course he's a professional athlete, so I'm sure he has more of a pattern with his job and his career compared to what I do. But I understand what he's saying. I'm a creature of habit also. I've had the same cell phone number. Some of y'all who watching have my cell phone number, but I've had that same cell phone number over 20 years. I think about almost 25 years, and I've had the same exact cell phone number. Hasn't changed. Very simple number too. It's very simple to remember. It's just a creature of habit. I never really wanted to change my cell phone number because I've had it so long, and I don't really like going through the process of changing my number and giving people my new number. That's just how I am. And I know some people that change numbers every single year, but I'm a creature of habit also.
A frenzy.
Well, what's funny is I have to remind myself, kind of like you did, that I do get thrown off. I get really aggy before games. Like if you say something wrong, do something wrong, I'll be like, come on, man, like lock it in. But after the game, I have to remind myself on the bus going to the airport, like, okay, it wasn't perfect. We played fine. We did well. We won. Like you have to be resilient, because you're gonna have those games where it's a 30-mile-an-hour wind and it's snowing, or it's your leg doesn't feel right, and like if you need everything to be perfect, you're going to be a head case. So you have to remind yourself when things weren't perfect and you played well, because then
let's go up a little bit.
Wednesday I show up at this time, do this. And I kind of, now I don't need to, in a spreadsheet, but I did when I didn't have a plan for it.
Yeah. Do you still have a spreadsheet?
I don't think
quarterback.
Yeah.
Did that mess with your routine?
It's a great question. It didn't. On the bye week, it was something where it's like, man, I'm used to just doing whatever I want in the bye week. Now I got to give a day to do that. Mm-hmm. I did put off at times. I'd say, hey, let's film this at the end of the season. When the season's over, we can go back and circle back on this stuff. So I tried to, when I could, push it off. But then, there were times where you're like, I would love to not have to do this right now, but it was a part of what we agreed to. And I knew the end game would be worth it. And it helped that we had a great season. We were winning. But I felt like it didn't interrupt my routine as much as it was just filming what I was already going to be doing.
Right. So it would feel like a burden every now and then. I think there was a scene where I think you're sitting by the fire and you're upset about a little, maybe a burn mark.
Okay, y'all, pardon me. I'm gonna try to get to more the pertinent content. Atlanta Falcons, Netflix quarterback series. That's about Minnesota Vikings. No shade to the Vikings, but it has nothing to do with the Falcons. Can we go to some present come? All right, we got spending habits. Let's see how Kirk spend that money, all that money he got. Let's go to spending habits.
Has there ever been a time where you're like, I should go buy this one thing I should go buy?
What a great question. What a great question.
Because it is like, dude, you've crushed it. Like, I know it's an
evolved.
uncomfortable topic.
It's evolved.
But...
I'll never forget my rookie year. Rex Grossman. Your rookie year, he was on the team. Great guy. I was lucky to get to play with him for 2 years. And my rookie year, he leaned over to me, like it was during a walkthrough, I think. And he asked me a question like, is there anything, you're a pro now, you got a signing bonus check. Is there anything that you want? And I looked at him and I said, man, I've always wanted a sports car. I was like, I would love a Corvette, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to buy it. And I'll never forget, he looked at me and he goes, you should scratch that itch. He goes, you should scratch that itch. And at the time I was like, well, I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I'm on the league minimum salary. I haven't played it down yet. I'll save down the road. And what's funny is I'm in year 13 coming up. I never bought the sports car.
Come on now, Kurt. All that money you done made, bro. You gotta spend a little bit, Kurt. You can't take it with you, big dog.
I sometimes think of that conversation and I'll be like, that kind of sums it up. That like, I never did. And there's a point where at some point you do need to just go scratch that itch. And I think Rex's point is well taken. Like, he was speaking from year 11 where he was saying like, just go scratch. You only live once, go scratch that itch. Like, have fun. Like, don't worry about it. Was what he's trying to tell me. And he was right.
Right.
And so I think there's some of that, but
Are you going to buy one? How close are we to
Have you
just
looked
go?
into have you looked into it enough to know exactly what you want?
So I love cars. So I've like when we were in Vegas for the Super Bowl week, I went out to a racetrack and I was going. Like I took my brother and he's going for fun. And I'm like, I'm going because I'm trying to test drive these things. Like, I'm trying to see which one I want to get.
Yeah.
So, but I still haven't bought one. But we came here and Mercedes is a partner of the team. The stadium's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They've been great. So if I were to get one, I'd probably go that route. Get the AMG GT. But
Ooh, that AMG, that shit is cold, man. I'm not a big car fanatic. Anybody in the chat know how much that AMG costs? Brand new, I know it's got to at least be $100K easy.
I've always wanted one. I just never really pulled the trigger.
I feel like it's
But I got the
easy
conversion
avenue.
van.
Yeah.
Got the
You
conversion
still
van.
got that?
Well, my grandma's ended up getting told crazy story. So I buy my grandma's conversion van in 2014. Kept it going.
Did he say a conversion van? Ooh, I respect it, Kurt. You bet me. Boy, I'd have been buying me some cars, at least a few cars to that check, Kurt. I respect it.
Going. It was fun. We took it to games with family.
Proudly kept it going.
Yeah, proudly kept it going. But it was sitting in a mechanic shop parking lot. And at 4 a.m. in my hometown, a guy goes off the road and runs into it and totals it. Like the damage was like 10 grand and the van was worth like 4 grand. So it was gone. So I had to.
You think there's no way to fix this with 10 grand?
No, well, I could have. I could have doubled down.
He said, 10 grand, the van's worth 4. You think I'm going to put
crazy
crazy over? Yeah.
I could have doubled down, but I was like, the insurance company check, I'll just take it. But then we went in, we did buy a conversion van. We bought a brand new one. My wife was saying it's not. My wife was like, I don't think this is safe on the road anymore. She's like, let's just get a new one. So we got a new one. So we do have the.
Look at Kurt in that grandma van. I wonder what he drive now. I wonder if they're gonna ask him what does he drive currently at the time. Let's check in with the chat real quick, y'all. I got Archangel in the middle. What's going on, Art? How you feeling today, bro? What's going down? Clay Murray in the house. What's happening, Clay? He says you're not the only one that likes to move for Cousins and Pennis Jr. Win now, win later. I know that's right, Clay. I love it, bro. Definitely love it. We got our dog Millie Mills in the building. What's up, Millie? How you doing? What's going down? Clayton says Kirk is known for being. I'm starting to see that as I watch this video, Clayton, and I know one of his earlier interviews, after he signed with the Falcons, one of the first interviews after he signed with Atlanta. I forget. I think it was on Shaq. It was on Shaq's podcast. He was still living in his in-laws' house. Him and his family was living in the basement, and they was like, "Dude, why are you living in the basement?" He's like, "Well, it's cheaper right now." And he was like, "You got a lot of money." Like, you're like, "Yeah, we'll eventually buy a house, but we're living in the basement right now." But yeah, so it seems like Kirk is pretty frugal, but that's what they say about people who got a lot of money. They didn't accumulate their wealth by being extravagant spenders. So I respect it. I definitely respect it. Philip said, I see Kurt learn how to keep his mouth closed about a certain get. Finally, it's probably going to cost us next year, but finally, Philip says about 160 to 170. Ooh, Philip, I wish I could afford it, man. That's a pretty modest house nowadays. It's pretty 170K. You could buy a pretty nice modest house nowadays. What's happening, all right? What's going down? Millie says about 160. Whoa. I wish I had it, bro. I sure wish I had it.
Conversion, man. We splurged on that.
Yeah. Splurged on the conversion van.
I have nice things. I don't want to lead the audience to think that like I drive like a 1985 Honda Accord and like live in a cardboard box, but we have nice things.
Yeah, you have nice things. Julie still picks out your fashion.
Yeah, because I don't trust
myself.
myself. I dressed myself this morning at like 6 a.m. when I
look
got up,
fantastic.
no, thank you. But I'm pumped that quarter length socks came back. I've always felt that quarter length socks are the best sock going.
Yeah.
Like the higher ones are too tall, the low cut are too low. Quarter length is perfect, but for the last 15 years, quarter length socks were a big no-no. Like my wife was like, you can't wear those, but they're back.
You feel like a trailblazer.
I was at the Pro Bowl. I was at the Pro Bowl a year ago, 2 years ago.
But they're back.
And Fred Warner was wearing quarter length socks with.
Okay, let's get to the Atlanta era. Let's go to the Falcons area. There we go.
If I had said to her, "We're going to Japan to play," she would have said, "Great, boys will learn Japanese. Let's go." Like that's the way she is. She's built different.
Yeah.
So it really isn't a big deal to her. It's a huge deal to her siblings, her parents. That like I can't believe our daughter and her son-in-law are not only moving back to Atlanta after being farther away, but they're playing for the Falcons. Like this, for their sports fans. So this is a huge deal for them that I'm playing for their team, if you will. But for Julie, it was kind of like, great, that's fine, you know. But I would have been fine going anywhere, which helps. I mean, it helps. And my wife, if I said, "Hey, we're gonna play 10 more years. I'm gonna play till I'm 47," she'd be like, "Okay, sounds good." And if I said, "Hey, I'm retiring tomorrow," she'd be like, "Okay, sounds good." So she's a little bit like, she's a little bit like, yeah, whatever you got to do, I'm here to support. And I think a big reason
she sounds like she's extremely supportive of whatever decision he makes, and that's a critical component, you know, of a healthy relationship, you know, from your spouse. So that's good. That's a good thing to hear.
that I've had any success in my career is because I have a spouse, a helpmate, who is kind of there for me and is a support and does take so much off of my plate. I think she's a big part of it. I remember when I got married, Ray Wright, the strength coach. I'm throwing all these names from the past, good times. Ray Wright pulled me aside. He goes, "I firmly believe, Kirk," and Ray was a man of few words, but he goes, "I firmly believe that players in this league do not play their best until they get married." And he's like, "You got married, I think your best's going to come out." And that year I got benched. But the next year,
we're on the rise.
So anyways,
it does. I mean, it's like you
Yeah.
kind of eliminate a lot of distractions that single men would have. Especially
yeah, I think
when
you
you're
eliminate
coming into
distractions. I
money.
think she helped create some structure.
In other words, he pretty much saying when you get married, you don't chase women like you did when you were single. You know, up late at night. You know, when you are married, you have a more stable life. You know, you probably are eating better. You're probably sleeping better. So that definitely makes sense. It makes sense.
Sure. And just as a great perspective, you know, like what happened today at work? What'd you tell this person? How'd you respond to that comment? Hey, I think you said this to the media. I think you should have said this. Like, it's like a built-in coach.
Yeah.
And if you listen, like you could learn a lot of good things from your spouse.
Yeah, man.
You ever
Good
get to a point though
foundations.
when your season's dragging on, you're in week 9, you can't see the end of the road just yet.
Correct.
You go do the media, and you come home and your wife's like, "Listen, you said it like this, you probably should say it like that." Well, you're kind of like, "Honey,
Here's what I
give
get.
me a couple of minutes."
I'm on a
here.
boat in Lake Michigan, July 15th, and I'm trying to enjoy my day. And Julie will say some crazy comment like, "I can't wait for football season." And I'm looking at her, I'm like, relax. Like, football will be here. I'm trying to enjoy this boat ride. I'm not thinking about football. And she's like, "Oh, I just can't wait. I just love ball. I love football." And I'm like, "Yeah, because you don't have to do 2-a-days. Like, you don't have to grind." So she loves the season. But sometimes I need her excitement to just be measured because it's July and we're not there
Slow
yet.
burn.
Yeah, July
We gotta
15th.
pace ourselves.
You're 10 days away from camp. That's when it starts
Correct.
to sink
You guys
in. Like,
get it.
damn, like it's
Yeah, you
really
guys
tough.
I will say this: every interview I've heard from Kirk Cousins so far, because again, in all honesty, prior to him coming to Atlanta, I really didn't know a whole lot about Kirk Cousins. Didn't watch the Redskins play, didn't keep up with the Redskins and keep up with the Vikings, of course. But since he's been here, I mean, his personality just seems like he's very easygoing, you know, easy to like, you know. I kind of want to say kind of like Matt Ryan, but not exactly like Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan had an easy to like personality as well, but the personality is similar to, you know, to me, this is my perspective, of course. Personalities are similar, but they're also different as well. And I don't know if that makes sense, but just listen to Kirk talk. It just sounds like he's just so easygoing, easy to have a conversation with. He seems like he's very, very down to earth. Great sense of humor, you know, very, very versatile. He can fit in with the crowd on Wall Street, and he can fit in with the crowd in West End, Atlanta. You know, so that's a good thing.
Coming up.
Yeah.
We really got to go through this camp.
What went into you choosing Atlanta?
I would say
Okay, here we go. Let's get it. Let's see what it says.
the biggest thing was I felt going back years in Minnesota as we were trying to get an extension to retire a Viking, and the offers were coming in each offseason, that it was a 1 year. It was a 1 year. And I realized, if I'm going to stay here for another year, I'm probably not going to get to retire here. And so I did sign a 1 year and did try to make it work. But then I realized, this isn't changing. It's still a 1 year every year. And I realized, like, I want to go somewhere, be somewhere where I know I could retire there. And so that was kind of the feeling, was when I signed with the Falcons, that I think I'm going to get a chance to retire a Falcon.
So in other words, the Vikings kept offering him 1 year deals. In Minnesota, based on what he said so far, they were really not willing to commit to him more than 1 year per contract. Him creeping up in age was probably a concern. Whether or not they want to take the franchise in a different direction, also, drafting them a quarterback. And Kirk sounds like he wanted more of a long-term commitment from the team. And the Falcons did come in and offer him a 4-year deal. He mentioned retiring with a team. And also the Falcons gave him and virtually all of us a big surprise by drafting Michael Penix Jr. So I'm sure that's probably going to come up later in this conversation.
And that excited me.
Were the Vikings were the Vikings, obviously they're in the conversation and stuff.
Oh,
were
yeah.
they trying to do things to make it work? Whether it was 4 years or
no, that they were very involved. They were great through the whole process. They were great, and they always were. They were always great. It was just that the structure is what has always kind of driven the conversation for me. The structure was more on a year-to-year basis. And I thought, I don't think that's.
In other words, the Falcons gave way more guaranteed money over a certain amount of years.
It's the direction I'd like to go.
Dude, so sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you've gone through this situation twice where you're transitioning, you set up relationships, established a home, friends, all that stuff. You've made the move 2 separate times now. Emotionally, how do you handle that?
Really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Really difficult. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's
You're welcome.
it's just a big turn. It's a big change. You don't I don't even, as a sports fan, I don't have an appreciation for when Kevin Durant leaves the Warriors and goes to the Brooklyn Nets. I just shrug my shoulders and all right, he's still Kevin Durant. I'm gonna see him doing the same things he did in the Warriors. But when you live it, you're like, it's a huge change. It's a huge change for family, for meeting people, for leading people. You just hit the reset button, and it takes time to build up equity with people, that they trust you and you trust them. And so you do feel like you're a rookie again a little bit. You feel like you're going backwards instead of taking steps forwards, which can be frustrating, but you also know that's what you're signing up for. So you kind of brace yourself for that.
Structurally, I remember sitting in our row and talking about guaranteed contracts. You've kind of become the example for guys around the league whenever a new contract pops for Kirk Cousins. You've had, I don't know how many guaranteed contracts, but when you're talking about structure and the way it looks, now you're in a situation where you're in a 4-year deal, not all guaranteed. Does that kind of is that kind of the game? You were younger, so it's okay, let's go more short term because I know I can get. You had a goal of having guaranteed contracts. Did that kind of shift going into this next deal?
Yeah, I've always said you deal in reality and you deal in risk. So I can tell you all the things I'd like in a contract, but if reality is I'm not going to get that in the market, then it's pointless to talk about. So there's a little bit of what's reality. Reality would be that I'm coming off an Achilles, that I'll be 36 years old before I start the next game, and therefore my market may not be as strong as I'd like it to be.
So it sounds like, in other words, we wanted more than $100 million guaranteed from Atlanta. We wanted more than $45 million per season average, which he's making right now with the Falcons. 4 years, $180 million total. But he's basing his expectations with the reality of the situation, as he just mentioned. Hey, 36 years old, coming off an Achilles tendon tear. Therefore, there's going to be a certain cap that these teams are going to offer me, and I have to be realistic. I realistically can't expect a team at me being 36, coming off a season-ending injury, to give me 170 million guaranteed, to give me 185 million guaranteed, you know, to give me a 5-year deal worth an average of 51, 52 million, you know. So he's setting a realistic expectation here.
There's also risk. Like, what are you willing to risk? What are you willing to put on the table? What are you, and I was willing to play out a contract. I said, if all I'm going to get from Minnesota is a 1-year extension, then I'd like to just play out this contract and I'll get that 1 year when the season's over. But there's risk involved with that. So I try to deal in reality and I try to understand risk and those two things. And I feel like the combination of those two is what drove the whole offseason process to end up where it was. But I do think there are too many players and really sometimes teams that they aren't dealing in reality and they aren't recognizing risk. And so you have to realize those two things are a big part of all contract discussions.
That last
Makes perfect sense. Let me go to the chat real quick, y'all. D Will in the building. What's going on, D Will? Says, watch this earlier. I think we have the right guy in the building along with Ricky. I absolutely agree. I said this early in the live stream. I feel like I'm one of the few Falcons fans who's okay with signing Kirk Cousins as a free agent and paying him what we paid. I'm also okay with drafting Michael Penix Jr. As a rookie, so I wholeheartedly agree with you also. I like the acquisition of Kirk, and I like us drafting Michael Penix Jr. also. And I'm optimistic that it will bode well with the Falcons when it's time, for the Falcons, when it's time to play some real football games, which will be here sooner than we know. It's already mid-May now, so preseason will be here before we know it. Y'all know summertime go by so fast. So I'm looking forward to this new era with Kirk Cousins. Looking forward to the next era with Michael Penix Jr. We have had some pretty bad quarterback play the last 2 years, so I'm very much looking forward to returning to a time and a period where Atlanta has very good, great quarterback play, and so looking forward to it. A-Town's finest wifey is a real one. That she is. She is staying down, being very supportive. So I can definitely dig it. D. Will says, if you have not watched QB1, it shows their interactions and how he has things set up at home. I have not watched it. That's something I'm going to try to have to check out sooner than later as well. Clayton Murray says, did you watch Raheem Morris' press conference today about OTAs? No, I didn't. I did not watch. I got to catch up with that too. Haven't watched that either. I'll try to watch that later on tonight sometime. Clayton Murray also says, seems like kick return is an open position. Who's our kick returner right now? You're right. Who is it? Who's gonna be returning kicks? Is it gonna be maybe that running back we drafted? I'm not sure who will get that. Excuse me. A-Town Finance says, wifey drawing up plays in the offseason. Kirk just trying to chill and eat burgers and fries. I hope Kirk don't overeat with them burgers and fries. But now Kirk Cousins, like, he in great condition, man. You can tell he takes good care of himself. I saw the Falcons also, speaking of great condition. Raheem Morris came out recently and pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said Kirk is again, I'm paraphrasing. He's ahead of schedule in regards to his rehab time, and they fully expect him to be ready for the regular season. And going back to the Falcons, I saw them share on their social media Kirk Cousins dropping back, throwing the ball. Hey, I'm no orthopedic surgeon, but Kirk looked good, man. He looked good in his drop back. He looked good setting his feet. And the way I'm thinking about it, because I know how NFL teams work in quarterbacks, especially ones that they just paid a lot of money. If there was an issue with Kirk in terms of his injury right now, he wouldn't be participating with the team right now. He'd be in street clothes or he'd be riding a bicycle. He wouldn't be dressed out. He wouldn't have a helmet on. The team wouldn't let him dress out. The team doctors wouldn't let him dress out. But we got it's May, June, July, August. We got still 4 more months before it's time to play the real games. And he's already participating in team activities. So I fully expect, again, I'm no surgeon, I'm no doctor, But by the time the preseason gets here, I expect Kurt to be 100%, just based on what I'm seeing. So that's a good thing. I'm excited about that. I'm optimistic about that, and I know there were a lot of concerns about his Achilles. I was concerned about that initially, but he's already out there throwing the football, participating in activities with the team. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the progress of him. At times, finds a babe. Imagine Bijan goes in motion, picks up the scene. Drake on the post. Winston says, "Kurt humble as hell." Yeah, he's very humble, and that goes back what I was saying. He just has like this likable personality, a very likable personality, and like you say, he does seem very humble, does seem very down to earth, and that's a great character trait. Winston says, "Hell, he better bring that dog this season with the young buck breathing down his neck." Yeah, he does have that element of the young puppy, trying to be the big dog of the backyard, if you will. So he knows he doesn't have room to slack off or not to bring his best, and I don't think we'll have that with Kirk Cousins. I feel like he's gonna look at this as a competitor moment. Okay, y'all drafted Penix, but he's gonna sit down for at least 2 years. I still got a lot of football left in me, so I'm hoping that brings out the best in Kirk. Like when the Packers drafted Jordan Love, it brought out the best in Aaron Rodgers. When the Patriots drafted Garoppolo, it brought out the best in Tom Brady. And I'm not trying to compare Kirk to two all-time great quarterbacks, because I know there's a talent difference there, but I'm just making a comparison into how it motivated other quarterbacks to perform even better. Ron Thomas in the building. What's going on, Ron? How you doing today? What's going down? Winston says Ray McLeod as kick returner, Avery Williams as punt returner. Okay, appreciate that. I forgot about Avery Williams. A1 Forever in the building. What's going on, Tip? How you doing today, bro? Y'all make sure to check out my guy A1 Forever, also on YouTube as well. If you're not already subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. He drops some excellent content. Of course, covers the Falcons. And of course, he really covers all of Georgia sports. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you do it right now. Millie Mills is tight. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I ain't feeling the whole Rondale Moore at wide receiver 3. I just don't think the kid got the juice, bro. Hey, I understand it. Very, very understandable. And I'm hoping with Rondale Moore, a quarterback like Kirk Cousins, can bring out the best in him. I'm hoping our offense can bring out the best in him. I'm hoping having a very dangerous run game will bring out the best in all our pass catchers. Because that's the thing about the Falcons, bro. We got a quarterback now, and we can still run the ball. We still got Chris Lindstrom and McGarry. Some of the better run blocking duos in the NFL. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping us being able to run the ball will open up that play action game, and it's just gonna help the entire team, from Rondale to Drake and also Kyle Pitts. I really want to see Kyle Pitts get back to that Kyle Pitts we seen his rookie year when he had Matt Ryan throwing him the ball. So I'm hoping the best. Philip Crawford says quarterback will be the least of our worries for the next 10 years. They can say what they want about our quarterbacks, but they can't say they are sorry. Yes, definitely, indeed. And, as we all know, the quarterback is the most important position on the team. So to have that solidified and out the way, like you say, for the next 10 years, that's a big relief off the team's, priority list. You got that taken care of. You got Kirk Cousins. Then you got Michael Penix Jr. right behind him. So you can start filling out other parts of the roster in future years as well. A1 says, praying for no setbacks. You and me both. And he looks good out there so far. So, we're definitely hoping for the best. 8-time finalist says, I'm not high on more either. 8-time finalist says, also Mooney going crazy, though. Yeah, that's good news. And I think he'll have a productive year as well. A1 Forever says, well, I'm not high on more either. Y'all in here banging on more. Let's ring the bell for that. Miller Mill says, yeah, now Mooney should be elite. A1 also says, I got my own Mooney. It's time for him to prove that he just didn't have a quarterback who can get him the ball this year. So Mooney got a lot to prove within the fan base. John Briggs in the building. What's up, John? Says, let's go at Atlanta, all the pro teams, Falcons, Braves, Hawks, and everyone else. Tight, what's happening? Hey, I'm chilling like a villain, John. What's going down? Thorne Davis in the building. Yo. What up? What up, Thorne? How we doing? How we feeling? Demetrius said, every time Kirk throws a touchdown pass, I want to hear you say like that and hear Rubber Band Man by T.I. playing because that's his theme song. I stamped it. Let's get it. All right, so let's keep going.
This part you just said about other players not dealing with reality and not understanding the risk. That is the majority of college, NFL players that are playing in it. Do you ever sit down and have those conversations with those guys? Because it is so many guys live a delusional lifestyle playing this game. And it's kind of scary to watch because you're looking at guys and you're like, brother, you know, if you're an undrafted cat playing minimum and you're rolling around in the nicest car in the lot, like there's a problem.
Yeah, I've always said that they don't, the 40-yard dash. I'll watch the combine on NFL Network or whatever, and I'll laugh and I'll be like, until they have a 40-yard dash that the number tells you someone's emotional intelligence and self-awareness, you really haven't evaluated the player.
Right.
Like, we'll get some guys and you're like, yeah, he's a great player, but like he is so unaware. Like there's no awareness, and eventually that's just going to limit what he can do as a player. So, or vice versa. You say, yeah, the guy isn't the fastest, isn't the strongest, isn't the biggest, but he's emotionally intelligent and he's very aware and he knows how to work. He knows the strategic things he has to do to be better. And so I'll play with him any day and he's going to be a great player in time. And so I don't think they've come up with tests at the combine to figure out this, separate the two, but that's a big deal to me, is people who can recognize reality and live in reality instead of, a world that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. Or they think they might get, like, guys who could be in situations, they think they're going to get something in a negotiation, and then it's like they feel disrespected on something without understanding what the risk is or the market or
business. Yeah.
Business part of it is people don't understand that all. Do you have some?
I was gonna transition to the Achilles.
Yes.
Talk through that. You
well,
guys
quarter length socks do protect the scar.
Let's see if we get that thing.
when the scar, when it was, no-show socks, the scar would be very visible. But now I can rock quarter length, and I don't even have to show the scar.
You got a solid tan line coming in too. You've been wearing those quarter lengths out.
Once you
saw it was okay, them things haven't even come off.
Threw away all the
go to sleep in them boys.
But it's healing up. We're 6 months and change in. I was told 9 months when I did it was kind of the timeline, August 1st. But being a competitor, I'm hoping for faster than that, and we'll see if we can get there.
Let's hope so, Kurt. I definitely hope so.
When they're sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask if you conversed with Aaron Rodgers at all. It seemed like he was very
I called him. I think I did it on Sunday. I probably talked to him on Tuesday, just to say, what do I need to know? Didn't even know what to ask really, but he was great. He was helpful. Gave me his perspective, his thoughts, what you want to focus on, and then I probably circled back with him in December on our bye week. And he was very helpful again. At that point, he was trying to get back on the practice field already. So he was helpful. And then I started researching people who have torn their Achilles. It was a serious list. Like I made like a power rankings of the all-time people who have torn their Achilles. I know Al Gore tore his Achilles.
Got the spreadsheet.
No shit. Al Gore tore his Achilles. Judi Dench tore her Achilles, the actress. We had Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and one other famous actor all tore their Achilles. Russell Crowe elected not to have surgery.
Interesting. I know when I tore my ACL, I know my orthopedic surgeon also told me that everybody doesn't elect to have surgery. He mentioned to me that the tendon can heal itself with time. So not surprised to hear that. Not everybody likes to go get put to sleep with anesthesia, go under the knife. If you never had surgery, it's nothing to look forward to. I'll just say that it's not a pleasant process. So I can understand that.
And like it never got better. So like 12 years later, he got surgery. So I felt like that was a good argument to get surgery.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt, ironically, tore his Achilles while playing the role of Achilles for the movie Troy.
No shit.
Filming was suspended like 4 to 6 weeks so he could heal.
Damn.
But Tiger Woods, I guess, tore his Achilles. I didn't know that. lot of basketball players: Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
Dan Marino. So I was just looking at like all these guys, and it was encouraging, honestly, because there were so many people who came back and lived meaningful lives post Achilles.
Because you get worried about the Achilles because that
Also, Dominique Wilkins. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. They both tore their Achilles also.
ankle flexion. What has been the
Yeah.
most difficult part for you in this recovery process?
Well, I think a lot of it is trying to get the brain to recognize that you're good now. And so it's the innervation of the muscles and knowing that, hey, yes, we went through trauma. Yes, it needed to heal, but it's healed now. You can go. We can go. I think the brain is still guarding like it always does after an injury. And
Yes. That's another aspect of it. When you go through a serious injury like that, it's one thing to rehab yourself physically, but as he's saying also, it's another thing you have to rehab yourself mentally as well, because what Kurt is pretty much saying is like, even when that tendon or that ligament heals, your brain is like the protector. Your brain know it. You got hurt. Your brain knows you don't want to get hurt again. You don't want to go through that pain. You don't want to go through that rehab. So it's one thing to heal physically, but that mental, getting over that mental hump of, okay, I'm okay. I can cut again. I can play football again. I can play basketball again. That takes some time. I know it took me some time, and everybody that I've talked to who has had a similar type of injury, they all say like, man, that's the mental part of it, just not wanting to go through that process again.
so we're trying. It takes time, and so you can do all you want, the exercise you want, but it's still time has to do its work.
Is pain a factor at all?
I think pain kind of becomes like your signal that you aren't healed yet, or that's your limiting factor. So if you move and there's pain, then it's like, hey, why is there pain? Let's work through this. But it's interesting how as time goes, as you heal, as you do more rehab and exercises, you find you can do more and more and more. And where you're getting that moment of pain that's telling you to stop is further and further and further down the movement scale. So I'm really close now, and we just got to kind of break through that last push here to go from where I am to like full go.
How'd you do mentally through it all? Like you go from, you're obviously making the push with the Vikings. Now you guys didn't start the right way, but
we were ascending.
Yeah, you guys
time.
were ascending. Like you guys were in those close games that you probably should have.
We were
out,
really.
You're starting
really
to ascend, and then you go from you're now on the couch watching the games with everybody else. How'd you?
No fun. I was in a dark place for a while, like anybody would be. Football means something to me, and it hurt. It was confusing. It was frustrating. And so I'd be lying to you if I told you, oh, I was good, I was resilient. It's like, no, I dealt with the same feelings anybody would feel. You're frustrated and you feel like you're getting dealt a bad hand. But I had to remind myself that, okay, this football career, I don't own it. I just steward it. I steward what I'm given. There's only so much you can control. And so you control what you can control, and what you can't control, you've got to let go. If you try to hold it tight, you're just going to wear yourself out. So that perspective of being a steward, not an owner, really helped me. And so I said, all right, I'm going to steward my rehab. I'm going to steward my rehab well. And so what I did, and you would have done this too, Will, is I went into the training room every day in Minnesota, and I thought, all right, so my team, because I'm really not with the team anymore. So my team is the guy.
Okay, y'all, pardon me, but I'm going to skip a little bit past this. I'm kind of running a little short on time. Let's go to Falcons drafting Penix. Let's go to that.
Let's dive into the articles that have been going around about draft night. Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix gets drafted. They call you when the pick is happening.
Right.
There's a Minnesota article that came out. A reason that Kirk left was they talked about them drafting a successor high. So that was one of the reasons he comes to Atlanta. Talk about draft night, Kirk Cousins, the Atlanta Falcons picking Michael Penix.
Yeah, I think you're reminded again that there are things you control, and there's a lot of things you don't control. And so let's deal in reality, and recognize that fact, and then be a steward, not an owner. So I just believe that I got to steward what comes my way and control what I can control, which is what a steward does. But a steward doesn't worry about that which they can't control.
Yeah.
An owner does. An owner would be like, oh my goodness. So I just got to steward this, and just do kind of what I've always done as a player and let the chips fall where they may.
His body language is telling me a little bit, because I did notice the body language did change and the tone a little bit once they got the Penix. I could tell he wasn't happy with the draft pick. It probably did agitate him. He probably felt like Atlanta was committed to him for the foreseeable future, and for them to draft another quarterback, it brought him back down to reality. Hence, him being a steward and worrying about the things that he can control. And he mentions the owner, like, look, this still Arthur Blank team, and he's going to look out for what's in his best interest as a team owner. And that means, look, I have to secure the future also. So again, he it's probably one of the best news that he got that month of April, but there's nothing he can do about it. He can't control it. He's going to make the best of the situation.
Before your brain starts to compartmentalize and realize what's controllable and what's not, the immediate reaction when Michael Penix gets drafted.
Well,
Or if it was a phone call right before.
Yeah, I had happened. I'm trying to think, it was 21. So that would have been 3 years ago. Vikings 3 years ago. I was finishing up a round of golf before the draft on Thursday, and I'm on like the 18th hole, walking up the fairway, and Clint Kubiak calls me, our OC, and he said, "I just want to give you a heads up, like we may draft a quarterback tonight." I was like, "Okay."
And this was on Thursday?
This was on the Thursday, like a few hours before the draft.
Yeah.
So I understood that, like, for a while, teams are always thinking about succession plans. They're always thinking about that. And they didn't end up drafting one that year, but you're made aware that, like, this is a possible direction it could go. So my point is this isn't like a foreign concept. There's an awareness that this is the NFL, anything can happen. And so it kind of was a part. I mean, I remember I was committed to Michigan State. So I was trying to go to Michigan State, but they didn't offer me yet. I go on my official visit, no offers. They explained to me at the visit, they said, we've offered 5 other quarterbacks. If any of them commit, we will not offer you, because we're going to take one quarterback in this recruiting class. If all 5 don't commit, we would then maybe send you an offer. So you'll do this official visit, but no offer, go home, and we'll call you if something happens. So we did the official visit, and like a week and a half later, I get a call from Coach D'Antonio. He offered me a scholarship. What he was saying is they went 0 for 5. So I said, okay. And I didn't commit right there in the moment, but I slept on it. The next day I called him. I said, I'd like to be a Spartan. So I committed. But I did understand I was the 6th choice.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, so I signed my scholarship. And back then, once you sign, you can't back out. Like, you have to sit out a year if you transfer. So I'm locked in at Michigan State. No way to get out. And he calls me 2 weeks later and he said, hey, there was a quarterback who didn't sign on signing day. He's extended his recruitment, and he's coming up to Michigan State for a visit. We're going to offer him. We think he's going to commit. His name's Nick Foles. And I was like,
plot twist.
Okay. I said, now a month ago, you told me that there were 5 guys that if they committed, you wouldn't offer anybody else. Now I committed, and those same rules don't apply. You're now offering somebody else. I said, what do you think that makes me feel like? So, and Nick was the man. I'm so glad our paths crossed. We were together for a year, and he's been a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
So, but I remember at the time thinking, like, this is going to be tough. Nick's a really good player, and probably only one of us will play at Michigan State. So I say all that to say this whole competing for your job, coaches having to have a full quarterback room, have good players, trying to, get as much depth as they can. It's more like, copy and paste than it is something new for me, because this goes so far back to kind of how it always has been.
Right.
So he's pretty much saying, his past experiences as a quarterback, even going back, from his high school recruiting with Michigan State, through currently with the Atlanta Falcons, he has dealt with this before, not always being the guy that the team fully commits to, and naturally, the Falcons are committed to him, but they're committed to him for a certain period of time. Hence, a 2-year guaranteed contract. After 2 years, the Falcons can easily maneuver away from that contract. So he's putting all that in perspective. Like, look, I understand. I went through this in college before I was even getting paid to play quarterback. Now that I'm getting paid to play quarterback, it's still here. So it's a part of the process.
So it's fair to say, Kirk Cousins, the Falcons, there's no beef involved.
No, and I don't think there can be. I don't think it's helpful. Like, we're trying to win a Super Bowl, and it's hard enough. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard enough. So let's all be on the same page, and let's try to go win a Super Bowl.
Saying there's no beef with me and the Falcons, contrary to what some of the media trying to put out there. You know, our goal, my goal, their goal, we're trying to win the Super Bowl. So we don't have the time, we don't have the room for me to sit up here and be upset about what the Falcons did. You know, my goal is to bring the first Super Bowl to the city. So I got to get myself mentally prepared to do that. I don't have time to sit here and throw a temper tantrum about something that's not in my control, which has been his main talking point throughout this interview, or through this part of the interview, I should say.
Yeah, I'm stuck on the Michigan State thing right now.
Oh,
Like,
hang on,
I'm-
one more before you go
yeah.
back to Michigan State, because I was going to say too, like you brought up the example of Minnesota and Kubiak calling you on Thursday, hey, we might draft somebody. We just had Raw on, and Raw was kind of like in the mindset of like, you know, what did he say? There was like a line that he said, but basically communicate, you know, when we needed to communicate. He's like, what if I told him before that, hey, we might draft somebody high, and then you don't end up doing it? What can still happen to a psyche? Not that it would go sideways, but
Right.
there's all these variables that
Oh,
go
yeah.
in on how to communicate, and they're not
Yeah.
always going to be right.
Right.
But it just had me thinking about that. It's like, yeah, you have a phone call. It's like, hey, we could be taking a quarterback tonight. Doesn't end up happening. It's like, well, they're looking to replace at some point.
Yeah, and there's also like going back to reality.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of like, hey, you may not like what you hear, but like, it's reality. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'd love to change reality, but reality
Yeah.
is one thing. It's reality.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
Michigan State.
yeah, let's go.
They go 0 for 5. Why didn't you just go to Ann Arbor?
All right, so let me hop in the comment section while they go back to Michigan State. Let me see here. Millie Mill says, what does Moore bring to the table that Bijan can't? Great question. I will say some depth, you know, at the wide receiver position. That was probably one of our weaker position groups last year once you got past Drake London, and I guess I will include Kyle Pitts in there as well, because Kyle Pitts splits out wide just as much as he lines up in line. So I will say some depth. It brings depth to the position. It enables the Falcons, who's going to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets this year, based on what Zach Robinson has done in the past. The option to put more pass catchers on the field. You know, so I will say probably the main thing is depth. And also, as we saw last year, you know, Bijan is pretty good coming out the backfield catching, but there is a lot of nuances of being a wide receiver that Bijan just has not learned as of yet. You know, we saw him make some mistakes when it came to catching the football, lining up out the slot last year, maybe cutting his routes off too fast, maybe not finishing his route. So somebody who has practiced that wide receiver position as a professional for years, maybe that experience factor will be a benefit to us. You know, so I think that's some of the things that Moore will bring to the table that Bijan doesn't exactly have in his bag as of yet. Jimmy Hall in the building says, what's up, everybody? What's going on, Jimmy Hall? How we doing? How you feeling? Demetria says, question for you, Tidy. Do you think we're looking to try to get T. Higgins later on down the road? I saw the Bengals franchise tagging him. I will say, as of right now, I'm going to say no. And I say no simply based on how much money he's going to make. He's going to be right at the top of the list of the highest paid wide receivers when he does sign his new deal. And I just don't see a way the Falcons can fit that in their budget. And they still got to pay guys like A.J. Terrell. And pretty soon you're going to have to pay some of the other guys that are coming down the list as well that you have drafted, like Drake London. Drake London will be, excuse me, his extension will come up sooner than later. Now, I will say this. If there is some way that Kyle Pitts does not get a long-term contract with Atlanta after this year, after his 5th-year option, that definitely will open the door of the possibility to draft T. Higgins. If Kyle Pitts does get a extension from the Falcons, then I'm going to say absolutely not at that point, because then you're dedicating. At that point, you're going to kind of start to run into that Matt Ryan, Julio Jones factor. When you have 30% of the cap dedicated to two positions, it might have been even more than 30%. When you consider paying Kyle Pitts probably a record-setting contract for tight end, then you're going to have to right behind him end up paying Drake London. Then you would have T. Higgins here making what, 20+ million per year. At that point, I think that is overdoing it at the pass catcher position in terms of the amount of salary that you're going to dedicate to that position. And you still have Kirk Cousins here on his second year of his deal. Then you still have Michael Penix here getting paid as a top 8 player. So I would say as long as they re-sign Kyle Pitts to a long-term extension, I don't see any way that T. Higgins will sign with the Falcons long-term. 8 times finalists. Takeo Spikes tore his 3 times. That's correct. He did battle that for quite some time. Eric Parker in the building says, what up, Tyler? What's going on, Eric? How we doing today, bro? What's popping? Winston says, Kirk saying Foles is cool even when competing for the same job. A report came out that said Fields and Foles were toxic together. Who was at fault or who is lying? Good question. It's real hard for me to say who was at fault there without really knowing the particulars or all the details. Could have just been a quarterback ego type of thing. It could have been Foles looking down at the young guy. It could have been a young guy being entitled, thinking that this is my job and you're on the way out. Why should I listen to you? I read that same report. The report said that Foles was trying to mentor Fields, trying to I would use the word teach him, and Fields would put his head down and he would be disengaged. I will say this. As a diehard Georgia Bulldog fan, there were similar reports coming out of Athens, Georgia about Fields and Fromm. There were some reports that saying Fields felt entitled to start over Fromm, and it made the locker room a little more rocky than it probably needed to be. But I'm sure as the season progresses, we will hear more about exactly what happened in that locker room. Jimmy Hall says, look at what Detroit did. God forbid Goff gets hurt. Getting the quarterback was a smart move. Yeah, I do agree. And Goff just signed a big boy deal as well. And this time next year, man, when the other quarterbacks sign, this Kirk Cousins contract is going to kind of start to seem like a bargain if he plays up to what he has done these last few years of his career. A-Town Finder says, I'd be surprised if more even hits 30 total touches this year. Bernard says Pitts has to prove. Yeah, he does. There's really no room for excuses for Kyle Pitts this year. He should be fully recovered from his injury. We have what we perceive to be a good / very good quarterback. So Kyle Pitts, hey man, it's time to shine, bro. It's time to shine. Of course, you got passes these last 2 years based on who your quarterbacks were. But this year in the passing offense, we were expecting big things from you, Kyle Pitts. So that's what we're all hoping to see.
So, tremendous question. And this would probably pain some Michigan State people. But growing up in the state of Michigan, it's crazy.
Let's
like
go by
this.
The senior.
So I was definitely undersized. I played my last game my junior year at 6'1" and a half.
Okay, so they're going to continue to talk about Michigan State. So we're gonna cut off the video at that point in time. I just want to go through that. Again, I saw he did a podcast with Bussin With The Boys. I just wanted to react to it. Pretty good interview. I do suggest that you go watch it in its entirety. The video is in the description, so just simply click on the link and check out the video as well. And also, those of you that are watching right now, make sure that you do hit the like button. Those of you that watch the replay, make sure you hit the like button as well. I do appreciate everybody's time, man. I appreciate the interaction. As always, love. I will try to be back sooner than later. I'll try my best not to make it another 2-week hiatus. But in all honesty, I have been working on some things behind the scenes. As I mentioned to you guys weeks ago, the Legend series that will be on the channel soon. Been working on that. That has been more tedious work than I anticipated it would be. So once it's done, I hope you guys are pleased with it, and I hope it becomes like somewhat of a success. For the people who watch the video and also the channel itself. So I'm looking forward to getting that finalized. It should be finished sooner than later, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Just know, it took me a lot of time and just a lot of other stuff to do it. It's my first time doing something like this, so hope you guys enjoy it. It's gonna be a legend. It's gonna be a legend series. I won't tell you who the legends are that we're gonna be showcasing, but if you've been a Falcons fan for quite some time, which you all have, I'm quite sure you can take some very educated guesses and figure out who the legends will be. So be on the lookout for that. It should be dropping very, very, very soon. Also, I do want to I want to say, like I said, it's been about 2 weeks, and in between that time, unfortunately, we lost one of our Falcons brothers, Eddie Carswell. I think he came on the show once, if I remember correctly. He really wasn't a regular panel member like a lot of the other Falcons brothers were. But man, was he a loyal and dedicated Falcons fan. He was one of the OGs of the Atlanta Bird Gang group on Facebook, and just all over Facebook. If you're active in the Facebook groups, you definitely encounter Eddie. He passed away less than a week ago, and my condolences go out to the Carswell family, especially his kids, his wife, mother, cousins, relatives. Heartfelt condolences. I've known him for years now. Met him on social media like I met a lot of you, and that's somebody that I consider a friend. So I'm still kind of in shock. It pains me to have to report on it on the channel. It pained me when I had to report on it to our Falcons Facebook group, which he was a very active member of. One thing that I really admired about Eddie and appreciated about Eddie from a fan's perspective is he was the definition of a loyal fan. Loyal fan. He always found a way to have a positive outlook on the Falcons and all the teams he rooted for, Falcons, Braves, the Hawks, and his Georgia Bulldogs. He loved the Bulldogs, he loved the Falcons, loved all his teams. But he was a definition of loyal. No matter who lined up at center, because y'all know as Falcons fans, we always argue, fight, and debate about the quarterback. Matt Ryan was his quarterback. That's who he rode with. No questions asked. When it was time for Marcus Mariota, the quarterback, he was riding with Mariota. When the Desmond Ridder era was here, he rode with Desmond Ridder. So he was going to always ride with whoever played quarterback, whoever was on the team. So unfortunate to lose him, but we all have that date set on our calendar. We really just don't know when that date will fall. So it's just a reminder, to try our very best not to take each other and our days for granted. easier said than done because we're all human, you know. But I'm definitely gonna miss Eddie. That was my boy. That was my debate partner. You know, that was my debate partner, man. We've had some very heartfelt debates. We laughed about certain things, and we just always went back and forth on Facebook. You know, we both love the debate. I loved and I enjoyed the debate with him. He loved and he enjoyed the debate with me. We'd always tag each other in posts like, "Okay, it's your turn. Make your point. Your turn. Make your point." The last subject of our debate was the Drake and the Kendrick battle. You know, he was team Drake, I was team Kendrick, so we were going back and forth, trolling each other about that. The day he passed, it rained and it stormed. You know, so that was Eddie letting us know that he has arrived. He's here and he's gonna be watching over everybody. He made sure his Atlanta Hawks got the #1 draft pick this year. So in closing, Eddie, I know I ain't got to say this, but look out for your dirty birds. You know, put some favors in to the higher power up there, and you know, send us a Super Bowl, or do everything you can, you know, to get us a Super Bowl. Definitely glad that you got to see your Georgia Bulldogs win that championship twice, because you were just as big of a Bulldog fan as you were a Falcons fan. So I'm glad here in the physical form you got to see your Georgia Bulldogs raise that trophy. You got to celebrate that with your family and your friends, and just bask in that glory of watching your beloved Bulldogs becoming champion. And I'm hoping that up there in the spiritual form, you'll be able to look down on us as we celebrated a Falcons Super Bowl. So on behalf of Atlanta Bird Gang and the rest of your Falcons brothers and sisters, rest in peace, Eddie. Fly high. Y'all be good. Take care of each other. And, you know, love on your people.